everyone. I am SITI NORJANNAH, BINTI PIRDAUS as a moderator for our today's discussion. So, before we begin, we know that the halal food concept is now gaining a worldwide discussion due to its recognition as an alternative benchmark for safety, hygiene, and quality assurance for what we consume daily. Thus, halal food product is readily acceptable by Muslim consumers and, of course, by other religions. Therefore, consumers nowadays is so much concerned and always be aware about what they consume, drink, and use. There are awareness by the Muslim and non-Muslim consumers describe the perception and the recognition reaction to the food product in the market. So there are so many issues and challenges involving the halal food ingredients. Regarding to this, our today's topic will be the issues, challenges, and prospects of halal food ingredients. So first of all, I would like to introduce our guests for today, which are Mr. SAIFULLAH from Jakim Officer, Dr. TASYA NADEERA as the lecturer of halal food subject in University Science Malaysia, Miss MAISARAH as the lab assistant in food industry, and also Mrs. AZURA as the consumers in halal food product. So here we have panels from different field of expertise to discuss about an issue that Mrs. AZURA had experienced. So without further ado, I would like to invite Mrs. AZURA and Dr. NADEERA to share their experience.
Thank you, Ms. Jana. So, hi everyone, I'm Zura. As a Muslim consumer, halal is an important aspect for food selection, and it is one of the part to obey religious obligation and commandments. So, we have a high purchasing power, and this play important role for in demand for halal food product. So I want to share to all of you. I had experience regarding to the food product that contain gelatin. So last week, my son eating his gummy bear that he bought from one of the local store in Penang. So I was curious. The gelatin that has been listed on the packaging is halal or not? So I'm just a consumer. So I just know that gelatin is we can get gelatin from halal or haram animals. So anyone can clarify about that?
Hello everyone, my name is TASYA NADEERA as the lecturer of halal food subject. So I would like to share to you guys about my experience as a lecturer, since many of my students always ask me regarding this issue of gelatin, and I always explain to them that not every gelatin that contained in our food is haram, and we must actually need to consider where the gelatin is come from. So it actually the source of the gelatin itself. So for me halal is something that is lawful, and most of people can differentiate and distinguish the meaning of halal food and also the something that is illegal to be eaten. And this is also as a Muslim consumers, we must take a good as a Muslim consumer, we should actually take this food ingredient issue as the topic, so that it can be whether we can sure that our ingredient that we eat and consume is halal or not. So can I have your point of view, Mr. Saif?
Thank you for asking me for opinion. Basically, as we can see, gelatin is a meat-based product, and for Jakim, we check two things before we come into our decision whether it is halal or not. So the first thing we'll check is Malaysian standard, which is MS 1500 2009, and the Malaysian protocol for halal meat-based product. So the process of evaluating your application, it comes in 3 processes basically. First, you need to get the application, and then we evaluate your application, and then we'll check whether your premises really abide the rules that needed for the meat-based product to be halal basically. And then we'll check annually, we'll check every 6 months, we'll check whether there is complaint, and we'll check your premises to make sure that your restaurant or your premises really comply with our halal requirements basically. Yeah. So yeah, I'll give back to you, Miss Mai.
In addition to gelatin, gelatin is actually derived from mammals, which is hydrolysis of collagen, which can be found in the bone and connective tissue and hides. There are 2 types of gelatin, which is type A and type B. The type A1 is usually derived from mammals, and the type B1 is derived from pigs. But the gelatin is usually used in the food industry as an agent of thickening and gelling, and also it acts as an emulsification. The gelatin itself is the gelatin that we derive from the mammals. It may be doubtful because we doesn't know if either the process of slaughtering it undergoes the correct SOPs procedures, or either there's any haram additive that been added during the spray drying. So, due to the doubtful of gelatins in food industry, there is actually alternative for that, which is fish gelatin and gallon gum. The gallon gum is usually used for a vegetarian people. The gallon gum is actually an extracellular polysaccharide that being derived that we produced by Pseudomonas elodia, which is from aerobic fermentation of it. While the fish gelatin is actually derived from fish bones, skins, and the fins. There is actually differences between fish gelatin and mammal gelatin, which is the amino acid proline and hydroxyl proline content in it. The content of proline and hydroxyl proline may result in the lower modulus gelling and a lower melting temperature, which if we use fish gelatin, it may need it in a large amount compared to the mammal gelatin in the food industry. So, even though the mammal gelatin is more functional compared to fish gelatin, and it is even more cheaper compared to fish gelatin, which is fish gelatin is hard to be found compared to the mammal gelatin, but the doubtful of halal status of fish gelatin and gallon gum is known, so that the halal status of mammal gelatin is doubtful for us as food industries and consumers also.
Thank you, Ms. MAISARAH, for such an interesting fact. So now everyone already know and understand regarding the issue about gelatin. Just to make it clear that not every food ingredient that contains gelatin is haram. It depending on which types of mammals that is derived from. Nowadays, we often heard about the labeling on pork-free. So most of the consumers think that it is halal to be consumed, but actually there is a lot of doubt regarding this issue. So how about that, Doctor?
I do agree with you, Ms. Jannah. As we all know, from my point of view, I think the concept of pork-free that we usually found in most of the restaurants, for sure, for example, it is something that we cannot simply justify as it is lawful or not. because the terms of pork free is not simply because sometimes we should also consider the way and the process, also the way. For sure, we must consider other factors such as preparation, handling, also serving of the restaurant itself. Obviously, for example, if you can see, do we really, if you guys realize and can think rationally, do we actually know how the restaurant process the food? And do you think what is actually they do to prepare the food, and also what is actually they do to serve the food? So it will be doubtful for Muslim consumer for sure. For example, if I say sushi restaurant, for example, they will use the labeling of pork free, but most of the sushi restaurant, they will use sake, which is Japanese rice beer that they will put in the sushi, in the making of sushi. And for sure, we know that the presence of alcohol will make the sushi become haram. So this will be the doubtful for Muslim consumers.
So I've seen a lot of confused consumers, just like Mrs. Azura here. so it's actually okay to be confused, because it's okay to have doubt. Actually, at least you ask the question and you gain knowledge about it. So basically, okay. So basically, it is easier to just look at the halal logo itself. We have done a thorough examination to make sure that the food that you consume is halal. So it is easier for the consumers to just look at our official logo and be really sure that it is halal. So because pork free doesn't actually mean that it is halal, because the animal that has been slaughtered, for example cattle, it might have not follow our Sharia law. So yeah, now we need to take precaution steps just to make sure. So yeah.
Yeah, I do agree with Mrs. Saful, as the main idea in food in manufacture is to prevent the contamination during the food production, and also to make sure that there is no halal ingredient during the processing, preparation, and also the storage.
Yes, that's true, Miss MAISARAH. So after I heard all the information about the terms pork free, I realized that we cannot easily consume it. It's quite challenging for those that do not have any knowledge about the pork free terms. Most of the people didn't know that haram is not focused only for the pork or alcohol beverage. So the main thing is we need to know and we need to consider the ingredient used for the food or beverage before we consume and before we purchase that. So as the issue that we just discussed just now is about the gelatin, so now I know clearly about the gelatin. So it's quite dangerous for those that do not know anything about the gelatin. Yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Azura. So we can see that the word pork free is not necessarily halal. So as in Islamic aspect, if we had doubt either that food is halal or not, we better avoid it.
So that's true, Ms. Dana. So as a consumer, I wonder if there any solution that can be taken regarding to the halal and non-halal ingredient that actually a trending issue among the consumer. So I want to ask if there what kind of solution that can be taken, and how to make it clear for the consumer about this challenge.
Okay. For my opinion, in the for the food manufacturers, I think that we should ensure that they will justify their products with the halal logo from the Jakim. This is because in food product does not all the consumers know and be able to read and understand the scientific ingredients in the labeling. So with the halal logo from Jakim, so the consumer will be not doubtful at all, because we know that to get the halal logo from the Jakim itself, it will undergo a specific procedures.
So regarding to Ms. MAISARAH prospect, our issue on halal food ingredients